The purpose in your loneliness. Why isolation shapes the strongest souls. What if your loneliness isn't a punishment, but a preparation for something greater? Could the silence you dread be the very forge of your future strength? Let's walk into the stillness together and discover the depth it was always meant to reveal. Your loneliness is not a coincidence. You are isolated for a reason. There is a silence that doesn't scream, yet it echoes through every corner of our lives. A stillness that enters our days without invitation. We call it loneliness. But what if that loneliness is not punishment, but preparation? Look closely. The world rewards noise, attention, applause, constant connection. But those who are destined for depth are first stripped of distraction. Nowhere can man find a quieter or more untroubled retreat than in his own soul. Marcus Aurelius whispered this truth to himself in the dead of night, not as a ruler, but as a man who knew what it meant to be alone in a world that demands conformity. We've been pulled away from the crowd not to suffer, but to see. See the parts of ourselves we've long ignored. See how shallow the surface becomes when there is no depth within. And in this seeing we begin to understand. Loneliness is a forge. No man ever became strong in the comfort of a crowd. Strength is born in the shadows. It is built in the moments when no one is watching, when no hand is there to hold, when the only voice we hear is the one that usually gets drowned out by noise, our own. Seneca once said, "It is in times of security that the soul should prepare itself for difficulty." But how can we prepare if we never spend time in the quiet, if we never isolate, reflect, and confront the self we usually distract ourselves from? So if you feel left behind, shut out, or alone, remember this. You are not being abandoned. You are being refined. The solitude is not exile. It is elevation. We are not meant to be constantly seen. We are meant to be carved by silence, tempered by stillness, built by battles that no one claps for. There will be a time when the world tries to pull you back into its chaos. But you will no longer crave the noise. You will not need the attention. You will carry something far greater. Fortitude. This is the path for those who do not fear the dark within. This is the path for those who choose strength over sympathy. And we, those who walk this road, we understand that isolation is not a curse. It is a calling. Isolation sharpens your perception. When the noise of the world fades, so does the illusion. In solitude, you begin to see things for what they truly are. People, desires, even your own thoughts. The distractions that once seemed urgent lose their grip. What remains is clarity distilled by distance. As Epictetus taught, it's not things that disturb us but our opinions about them. In isolation, your opinions are stripped bare, and what emerges is a mind less reactive, more aware. We begin to see not only the world more clearly, but our rightful place within it. Solitude is the training ground for inner invincibility. When we are alone, we are forced to confront the self without masks, without noise, without approval. And this is where the real battle begins. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Look well into thyself. There is a source of strength which will always spring up if thou wilt always look." The strength he spoke of is not granted by crowds, by praise, or by company. It is forged in silence. When no one is watching, and yet we choose discipline. When no one is listening, and yet we choose truth. This is how we become untouchable. Not by building walls around us, but by building something stronger within us. Being isolated removes illusions and reveals who we really are. In the absence of others, there is no one left to impress. No role to perform, no audience to manipulate. What remains is raw truth. Seneca once wrote, "No man was ever wise by chance. Wisdom demands clarity, And clarity often requires distance from society, from noise, even from comfort. Isolation strips away the false layers we wear in public. It reveals not only our weaknesses, but our potential to transcend them. It is in solitude that we stop pretending and start transforming. Before you go, remember this. The path we walk isn't meant to be crowded. Strength is forged in silence. Clarity is born in solitude. And the world only begins to respect you the moment you stop needing its approval. If this message struck something deep within you, stay with us, subscribe, share the wisdom, and walk this quiet path with those who understand. The journey continues. Loneliness is not the void. It is the soil, the quiet ground from which your deepest strength begins to rise. You are not abandoned. You are being prepared. In a world obsessed with noise and validation, your solitude is sacred space. The world will come back into your life, but by then, you will have changed. Not hardened, but honed. Not bitter, but unbreakable. This loneliness has shaped you for something far deeper than popularity or praise. It has shaped you for purpose. And when the world tries to